Hello beaches, welcome to Carry on the Beach. So the dress I am about to show you is one that I will be cutting over and over, not the same look, each look will be different, but it's called our Tea Party Body. And the one I'm going to show you is an A-line cut of it. I will also do a tiered version with an even fuller skirt, and then I will do the same body but with a ruffle on the bottom of it, so it'll be like an A-line with an added ruffle. It started out looking like this, which was just some ivory 100% cotton pre-smocked fabric from my Joann's haul. Be sure and check out my Joann's haul and why I did my Joann's haul in the link below. Now this particular dress features ribbon, hand stamping, a dip dye, and some vintage lace linen. I hope you love it. It will be for sale on my Etsy, and my Etsy is called Sugar Bay Mercantile, and my line is called Iuka House. And this one is in the Iuka Lace. We have 3 different lines within Iuka House. We have Iuka Rags, which is upcycles and flips. We have Iuka Lace, which is all brand new except some vintage linen worked in. And then we have Mustang Island Resort Wear. So that's all under Iuka House. So this is the Iuka House Tea Party dress, and this one is called Tea Party at Gum Springs. And I will tell you the story about Gum Springs when you're looking at the finished picture, so be sure and stick around for that. The story of the Tea Party at Gum Springs dress. And it's a gorgeous, dreamy, wearable art cottagecore dress. Be sure and run and pick it up if it's still available on my Etsy. And it is an extra large to like 1X. It fits a 43-inch bust, and then the waist and hip is very free-flowing, and it can stretch up to about a 45-inch bust. So anywhere from 43 to 45, you're going to be fine with this one. And then the waist is just, and the hips are full. But I'll give you the exact measurements of length and stuff like that. Most of my cuts will be like a regular cut. I don't cut them super long, because then if you're the average height of most American women, you have to cut a big section of the bottom off if you wanted the hem to be, you know, manageable, and that way you would lose a bunch of your dress. So if you're tall, it'll just be like a midi or ankle length, and then if you're 5'4" or below, it's going to be floor length. So it's manageable for many heights. I do want to say something about the fabric. It is like a cotton lawn, which is slightly semi-sheer when the sun is behind you. So if you're super worried about that, wear a slip if you want under it. Be sure it's 100% cotton and not one of those polyester ones that's like wearing a terrarium around your body. Or just get you a neutral pair of underwear and let the hint of your beautiful silhouette tantalize everyone around you. We are feminine, and that's what this game is about. All right. Enjoy the process of creating this dreamy cottagecore dress. I hope you learned something and you did not miss anything on the pattern. There was no pattern for the sew along. It's just one stitch going down the back. I will be doing, like I said, other versions with tiers and ruffles and high-low hems, stuff like that. But so this is the Tea Party body in A-line. We're going to start out showing it how it looks after I've dip dyed it. I did not record the dip dye process. I did it in the middle of the night and I was very tired and I forgot to record it. Okay, so here is the Tea Party at Gum Springs, and you will learn the story about Gum Springs when you read about this dress. It's from the Iuka House collection. It's going to be an Iuka Lace or else Mustang Island Resort line. So this one, as I said, it was all this ivory color. See this fabric? It looks like it has a bit of a shine on the camera. It has zero shine. This is like white linen-y. It's just my lighting in here. This is what I was talking about, the smocked part. See, it's very stretchy. It just wraps you and hugs you. And then it falls in these beautiful gathers down to the floor. I did the dip dye on the top. This started out with the Rit Rose Quartz, which is a ballet slipper pink, and it's just a hint. You probably can't even see it on the camera, like you see it maybe more over here. Like a hint of this pale pink goes down to about right here. And then up here, I let it set a little longer in the dye. And then up here, I added a different color, a darker pink color called petal pink, and let it set and heat in the water for the longest. And the same on the hemline. It's a beautiful pale pink up here. You probably can't even see it, so pale. And then it goes down to that darker. Okay, so I could have left it at that, but that's not what my line is going to be about. It's going to be jazzing stuff up to the point like you would never find anything like this in a store. It would be hand created by a designer. So I first started out with 2 different colors of fabric. This is kind of an ivory, like an aged one, and this is some of this fabric that was left over from when I did the shoulder straps. So it matches the color perfect of the white, and then there's a little aged look to this one. It's a little thicker and different to give it some texture. So I hand stamped all of these with fabric paint, and it has like a dark academia or dark academia. Sorry, my brain would not work for a minute. Dark academia, or some kind of like an academia theme. There's bird cages. There are butterflies, bird feathers kind of falling down the dress. It's done in like a charcoal gray and a pink. There's another bird cage, and as you see, you know, they're not perfect little prints. They're kind of aged and faded looking. Here is a cloche with an egg, a clock, another pink butterfly, a partial pink and gray butterfly. These are some books with a teacup stacked on it. Let me give you a look at the back of the dress now. All this has is the one simple seam going down the back, and it's not crooked, it's just on this mannequin crooked. So I've got another clock, a feather, more books, a cloche with a scarab, feathers that look like they're in a butterfly, and the feathers just kind of trail down the side. So again, I could have stopped there, but I didn't want it to look like a dress with stuff that has just been stuck onto it. I want it to look more just aged onto the dress. So to tie it all together more, I'm going to add more. I left kind of this area blank. If you see, it kind of goes like up and over a blank area. In that area, I'm going to put ribbon. It's kind of a baby pink that matches this beautiful slipper pink. It's kind of got a translucent, let me give you a close look at it, like a translucent edge to it. And it's going to look really pretty wound through those appliques. And then I'm going to add over that, I haven't decided if I'm going to put the ribbon over the applique or the applique over the ribbon. Probably the, I'm sorry, I went off there. Probably the applique over the ribbon. And then I'm going to add some lace, like under this piece. I'm going to add some, like a lace bottom to it, and lace background with some applique over that, and some darker ribbon to like the edges, like it's going to outline maybe this one. I haven't decided. After I'm done, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just gonna pin this ribbon up just to see how I want it to go and around it. And then we'll go from there and see if I like this ribbon or I got a slightly darker one. I'm gonna try them both and see which one I like better. This will also eventually have some tie shoulder straps. I've got them here. I dyed them when I dyed the dress. And I'm going to stamp the bottom of those. And it also has this gorgeous cameo that's going to go here where the shoulder strap is going to attach. And you can move it. You can only, wherever you go, people are going to say, where did you get this dress? What is it? Tell me about this dress. And you'll have the whole story that you can tell about the tea party at Gum Springs. So as you can see, I'm just pinning this ribbon on. No rhyme or reason, just kind of where I think it should go. And I've actually got 3 different ribbons. This is the translucent edge. This one is almost the same color, slightly darker without the edge. And this is like a grosgrain ribbon in a slightly even darker. So I'm gonna pin a little bit of each one and just stand back and kind of see which one I like. I'm pretty almost sure I like this one, but sometimes I'm surprised when I see something and decide to go with it. I kind of like this darker one too, but I'm going for romantic, whimsical, magical, and that baby pink kind of does that for me, but I will see. Okay, so I've got 2 on. This is the translucent edged one, and this is the darker pink grosgrain one. And then I still have this one. I am liking this so much. I think I may do both of them. I like the dark to the light pink, kind of like it went dark to this light down here. It might replicate that. Yes, I'm really liking the double color there. Sometimes part of the creative process is you just have to throw stuff up there and see what your eye likes. You also have to let things percolate for a while sometimes. I've had this mannequin, I've had this dress on the mannequin for probably 3 days now, just looking at it, thinking, how am I going to tie all this together to make it cohesive? Came up with a ribbon, and so next thing I'm gonna do is go to my vintage lace stock. And if you want to see my vintage lace haul, I'll post a link to that and talk to you about where I get vintage lace and stuff like that. And if you have a question on how I attach these appliques, if you look closely, I stamped them on the flat fabric. It's very important to have a very flat surface. And unless you want it, this one I did on a kind of a wrinkle just to give it a kind of a more of a haphazard look to it. So I stamped them, you iron them to heat set them, the fabric paint, and then I pinking sheared around them, and I just attached them with a straight stitch. I didn't zigzag. That would be very heavy on this fabric and give it a weird ripple probably. So I pink and sheared and then just straight stitched, and I straight stitched a bit in from the edge. As you can see, it'll have a little ruffle to it, just to give it a little more texture. So the next thing I'm going to do is, find that vintage lace, and I will come and show you that. Right now, I think I am going to bed, and we'll start this again tomorrow. Okay, one more thing I wanted to tell you about when applying your appliques and your lace. It's very important that you pre-wash them. I pre-washed the fabric before I even stamped it so that it doesn't draw up and be weird after you've put it on your dress. So you'll pre-wash your fabric for your appliques, and you will pre-wash your ribbon. So y'all, here is my ironing setup. I told you I was very constrained on my space in this house, and I don't even have an ironing board or a place to put one. I mean, I guess I could shove one in somewhere, one of those mini ones or something, but I just do this. Put 2 towels. You gotta make sure it's well insulated before you try to iron on your floor. Sometimes I iron on the floor, but this is our countertop. And you're going to want to iron your, I stamped these last night. I let them set overnight. That's not necessary, but you do want to let them set till they dry. So after you stamp, you're going to want to iron both sides to heat set the fabric paint. Just remember to really heat it up, but don't burn your fabric. You'll have to judge, you know, how thick your fabric is. If it's white, you don't want to scorch it. But, you know, heat it up really good. So I just take my iron. I don't put anything over it. I just go right over the top. And I try to, like, let it set for a few minutes. Not a few minutes. Sorry. That's totally wrong. That would burn it. Like a few seconds. And then I'll keep, you know, doing this. And then I'll flip it over and do the back side. Okay, I have something, I have these bees, and I want to put some lace behind it so that it kind of ties everything together a little more. And I've got this lace curtain panel that I'm going to cut into. It's a vintage lace. I got it from an antique place. It has this nice ruffle on it that I'm going to save to put on something else, but I'm going to cut into the main body of it and then put this over that. And then put the whole thing like an applique. So here's the bees. I've cut them out, and I did it kind of an oval shape, so you don't have to worry about whether your corners are straight and all that kind of stuff. I didn't worry about it being super, you know, just perfect, because it's supposed to look shabby chic. This is it laying on the lace. I think I'm going to do a fairly large piece of lace around it. I can always cut it down if I want to, but I'm going to try it with a big piece of lace around it. And the way I will attach it is I will probably sew this with big stitches or onto the lace first, and then go around that same area on the actual dress, and then around the edge of the lace again so that it's secure on the dress. But that way it doesn't move around when I'm trying to sew it. It'll already be stuck onto the lace where I want it. So I brought the bees over to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew them. I do not have the setup right now to show you my sewing, but I am going to sew it with a long, probably like a 3.5 to a 4 stitch. I haven't decided yet. I want to see what the 3.5 looks like. And then I'm just going to stitch it right onto here. It don't have to be perfectly centered or anything like that, as you see, because this is shabby chic, okay? So here it is done. I ended up doing the 4.5 stitch because I wanted a longer stitch, and on the Singer, that's one of the longest they have. Okay, so I got the bee kind of placed where I want it, and then I'm going to go through this tangled ball of ribbon from where I washed it and dried it, and I'm going to place the ribbon on the dress where I want it to go before I do the other appliques, so I can see what part of the applique I want the ribbon to go over and what part I want it to go under. And you're going to hear lots of kids and dogs playing. It's because this is island life, and this is a slice of island life. It's very joyous. Lots of people running around and playing. So enjoy, and I'm going to do this and show you the result of that in a minute. So I got everything pinned on, the ribbons and the appliques, and I think my best course of action is going to be to sew the ribbon first. And we'll start with a light pink, and I'm going to change thread color to this one, and then I'm going to do the dark pink next. And the question was how to sew those on in a way that would look good. So let me just show you. So this one has the translucent edge. So what I think I'm going to do is one little line on each side of the solid ribbon of thread, just because that one's a little thicker. On this one it's thinner, and I'm probably going to do one line of pink thread down the middle of it. So on this ribbon, as you can see, I'm just sewing down the middle of it, and I turn, if you can turn your if you have the type of machine where you can turn your sewing speed down, when I do really detailed stuff like this, I turn it way down and sew slow, and it will make you make less mistakes. And if you do make a mistake, it's not like it went all the way across the dress real quickly. So when you get to your little side seams, before you sew over them, you're going to want to make sure that they're laying the way you want them to underneath the dress, because you don't want it to be like flipped the other way and you've sewed it across it. So here's a look at what it looks like. See, it's got the one line of ribbon of thread going down the middle of it, and it is just, be careful not to get, you know, anything under on the underside caught up. And I have all these loose ribbons where I did not cut the ribbon off, because you don't know, like as you sew you may need more, because when you're pinning, it's hard to pin exactly as full as a dress is. So I did not cut the ribbon off, and I'm just gonna, when I get to the end, cut it off and fold it. Okay, so I'm using a 4 stitch length and a straight stitch, and then we're just going to town across the dress. Okay, so as you can see, I'm at the end where the 2 pieces of ribbon meet up. And as I said, I did not cut the ribbon in case I needed more of it as I got around there. So when I get to this part, I'll just fold this one over. I'll cut this one where it needs to be and fold it, and then sew them both over, and it will be done, this pink ribbon. Yay! I just sewed my last shoulder strap on. So now all I have to do is turn the dress inside out and check for any strings, tails that I need to cut off. Take the pictures of the dress and the video, measure it, launder it, and fold it into its little fancy box I have until it's ready to send out to the new owner. And it is a gorgeous dress. It did take me about 2 weeks to make. So if I'm going to make my own label and a business out of this, I'm going to have to get much faster. But I do believe I can do it. I used to have to watch a YouTube video every time I wanted to thread my machine, every time I wanted to wind the bobbin. Now that is like secondhand. I don't even think about it. I just do it. So the first time you do everything is a lot slower. So I do anticipate I will get faster at making these gorgeous dresses, and I hope you will follow along and see if this is going to work out. Thank you. Okay, my beaches, I hope you enjoyed constructing the tea party at Gum Springs dress with me. Be sure and subscribe, because I'm going to be sewing through my huge Joann's haul and seeing if I can get it done relatively quickly. I wanted to tell you the story of Tea Party at Gum Springs dress while I showed you pictures of it, but I can't get my voiceover to work, so I'm going to tell you it now, and then I will show you the pictures. So Gum Springs is a real place in Iuka, Kentucky. It's kind of off the side of a country road, and people come from all over and fill up, their water containers, and it's in a little glen of the woods. So imagine it's late 1800s, early 1900s. You're a young person out in the country of Iuka, Kentucky, and you receive in the mail from your friend a fancy invitation that invites you to a tea party at Gum Springs. You you sneak into your grandmother's bedroom and you pull from her chest an old beautiful dress that she had brought over from the old country. And it's kind of weathered and loved, and you can tell she had lots of fun in this dress. So you snatch the dress and you sneak away with it, and you go and you meet your friends in Gum Springs, and you bring along with you all of your favorite ribbons and pieces of fabric that you've collected, and you magically have a sewing machine there. And you and your friends, you create these beautiful dresses to wear at your tea party. You attach all your beautiful ribbons and snatches of fabric, and then you dip it into the magical waters of Gum Springs, and the springs turn it a beautiful bubblegum pink ombre color. Now you're ready for your tea party at Gum Springs, and you and your friends also have magically delivered the most beautiful cupcakes and cakes and tea cakes and crackers and sweet tea with cream, and you enjoy your day in the beautiful countryside beside Gum Springs. Okay. I hope that was a fun story for you, and like I said, it is a real place, and I hope you enjoy the tea party at Gum Springs dress.